Hello everyone, this is Zeba Anjum and this is about your lecture number 11 of Computer Applications with BlueJ, class 10th. In the previous video, we have seen your unit number 6, that is Mathematical Library Methods. Over there, we have seen the summary of overall chapter, and over here, see, we are going to see your sample answers, the answers of those questions that I have given you in the previous one. And furthermore, we will be seeing some of your exercise questions over here. So let us start with your sample answers. See, what is the resultant data type of the following mathematical expression? This question you were having. So you have to calculate the resultant data type based on this hierarchy. Okay, now see in A section where A is an integer, B is also integer, C is float, D is again float. So between your integer as well as float is having the highest hierarchy. That is why the answer is float. Your resultant data type is float. Now see in the B section, A is float, B is long, C and D is of integer type. Now see among your float, long and your integer, again you are having float which is having the highest hierarchy, hence float is the answer. Again see the C part where A is double, B and C and D, all the three are of your integer data type. So again between your integer as well as your double is having the higher hierarchy, hence the answer is double, or you will be getting double as a resultant data type. Now see the D portion. In the D portion, A is your character, B, C, D again are of your integer data type. Now see over here, we are having character at the second position and integer at the fourth position. So obviously integer is having the highest hierarchy, hence the resultant data type is your integer. Again see the last one, A, B, C, D all are of your integer data type. However, the expression is slightly modified as this one. See, your expression is slightly modified, but your A, B, C, D are everything is of integer data type. So see over here we have also added this 7.0 na. This point 0 means it is of double data type. Hence, among your integer as well as your double, you will be getting double as a resultant data type. Okay, now see over here, anyhow we are doing your implicit typecasting over here na. So that is why we are going to get this kind of output for the same. Now see again, this question also we were having, you have to find out the output for these two sample questions. Yes, now see the first one. We are having C equals to A plus B mod 2. Now substitute the values. The value of A is 5, the value of B is 6 and modulus 2, and the value is stored in your C. Now see over here among your plus as well as your modulus. Obviously this modulus is having the higher hierarchy, hence this will be executed first or calculated first. So 5 plus this 6 will completely be divisible by 2, hence we are getting 0 as a remainder. So 5 plus 0 becomes your 5, and hence in this system.out.println C line we are getting 5 as an output. Okay, now again see the second line where we are having B equals to A plus 2 multiplied by C. Again substitute the value. The value of A is 5 plus 2 into, from the previous expression we have got what? The value of C was 5. Now calculate or this expression. Firstly we are going to calculate this one, 2 multiplied by 5, hence 5 plus 10 will give you 15. So the answer that you will be getting is firstly 5, then afterwards in new line you will be getting 15. Okay, now see the C part. Again we are having A equals to 5, and in the next expression we are having what? A plus plus. It means you are doing post increment over here. See over here we are not going to use the value of A, but anyhow the value will be increased by 1, so your 5 becomes 6 over here. Okay, now we have encountered what? System.out.println line. So at the same you are going to get what? 6 you are going to get as an output at the first line. Again you are having a new line, so the cursor will move over here. Now again expression we are having. Firstly let us try to open this shorthand operator. Okay, so let us write down A equals to A minus this overall expression. Now a minus 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 a. Okay, now substitute the value. The value of a was 6. So 6 we are going to write it down over here. Now again in bracket, let us write down a minus minus. Firstly, you have to use a value, then afterwards you have to decrease the value. So firstly we are going to write down 6 over here, then afterwards we are going to decrease the value and it will become your 5. Minus, again minus minus a. Firstly we are having the operators. That is why firstly decrease the value, your 5 becomes 4 and then you have to use the value. So we are going to use 4 over here. Now again, firstly let us solve this bracket. So 6 minus 2, you will be getting 4 as an answer. Okay, now already we were having 6 and your new line, and now in the new line you will be getting 4 as an answer. Now again see, this is your answer for the same. Okay, now one more question we had, which is this one. Which among the following are invalid class names in Java? Basically, we were calculating what we were seeing, what are the invalid identifiers in Java. Okay, now we have to give the reasons why they are not valid. For the first one, compound interest. It is clearly invalid because we are having a space over here and it is not allowed to be your identifier. In the second one, at the first position, you have encountered a digit and that is not valid for an identifier. That is why it is also invalid. Now see the third one. We are having my class and dollar sign. It is valid one. Why? Because your class name is starting with an alphabet. There is no space in between, and as a special character you are having only what? You are having an this dollar sign and it is valid. That is why your third one is valid. Now for the fourth one, again you are having what? You are having this hash sign and this is not valid. Now see the fifth one, again for this at the rate symbol, it is not valid. Okay, so all the fours are invalid, but this third one is valid only. Now such questions you may encounter. Now see, in the exercise portion, we were having these differences. You have to give the difference between math.ceil value as well as your math.floor value. Now see over here, it has been written that it returns math.ceil, it returns the smallest double value that is greater than or equal to the argument and is equal to a mathematical integer. Yes, it is going to give you the smallest double value that is greater than or equal to the argument and is equal to a mathematical integer. It means what? If you are getting any of this number regarding your decimal point number basically, then it will be going to give you the higher value. Yes, the higher integer value it is going to give you, but it should be the smallest as well as the nearest value. Likewise, see in the example, you are having math.ceil 65.5. Okay, now when you round this thing off, then you will be getting 66.0. So it is the nearest integer that you can round off this value. And again, math.ceil will be giving you the higher value, not the lower value. Okay, now again see over here for 65.4, let us assume this one. If you are having this 65.4, then again this math.ceil value is going to give you 66.0. Yes, again it will be giving you 66.0, not 65, because 65 is smaller than 65.4 and math.ceil always give you the higher integer. Okay, that is why it will be giving you 66.6 as an answer. Now coming towards your math.floor value, it returns the largest double value that is less than or equal to the argument and is equal to the mathematical integer. Basically, your math.floor is going to give you the lowest value. Yes, lowest value it is going to give you, but this lowest value is the largest double value that it could have. Likewise, consider this example. You are having 65.5 and you have to find out the floor value of it. Yes, now math.floor is going to give you the lowest value. So you will be getting 65.0. Okay, because this one is smaller than your 65.5. So math.ceil is going to give you the higher value as well as math.floor is going to give you the lower value for the same. Now moving forward with your second question, the difference between your math.rent as well as your math.round. Okay, see in the previous slides also we have discussed, in the previous lecture we have also discussed the difference between those two. Now again see over here, The first difference is it rounds off its arguments to the nearest mathematical integer and returns its value as a double data type. And regarding your method.round, round off its argument to the nearest mathematical integer and returns its value as integer or long data type. If the argument is float, return type is int. If the argument is double, the return type is long. Now the first point says only this much, that your return data type is double in math.rent, and in math.round it depends, either it is of integer data type or it is of long data type. If your argument is a float, then your return data type is integer, but if your argument is double, then your return data type is long. That is only the first point says. Now see the second point. At the midpoint it returns the integer that is even. It is going to give you an integer that is basically your even number. Okay, but this is not such case in your method.round. It only returns your higher integer. Now let us clarify this thing with the help of an example. Now see, in the third point you are having two examples. See, math.rent for 1.5 you are going to calculate, as well as math.rent for 2.5 also you are going to calculate. And while rounding off anything, we have learned it is a basic mathematical rule that if you encounter zero point 0.5 or more than this zero point 0.5 after the decimal, then you will be increasing the number by 1. Yes, but over here we are dealing something very different kind of thing. Now see, in this condition, both of your a and b will be giving you two value. For 1.5, it is rounding off and giving you 2.0 value. Yes, it is same as your method of round. But see over here, when you are having 2.5 and it rounds off, then you might be getting 3.0, but it is not an integer, sorry, even value. And your method.rent will give you even value in case you are at the midpoint. So you will be getting 2 over here. Okay, basically 2.0 you will be getting. So that is how you are going to get 2.0 in both the cases. Now see, in method.round, if we encounter the same example, then this one method.round for 1.5 is going to give you 2 as per the basic mathematical rule, and method.round for 2.5 is going to give you 3 value, and this depends clearly on your mathematical functions. Okay, see, please make a note that if in exam the differences came, then you can write down the differences in your own language. There is no need to write down any bookish language. There is no limitation for such kind of thing, but you have to write down the answer in your own words. The answer should be correct. It should give some kind of meaning, and it would be very good if you apply, or if you give one example for each thing. Okay, so there is no need to learn this thing, no need to learn this bookish language. You just understand the concept and write down the answer on your own.
Now, let us see some remaining exercise portion. Now see, over here we are having your sixth part, that is unsolved programs. See the first question, you have to write a program to calculate the value of the given expression. Yes, you are having one expression and you have to calculate the value of this expression. Now take the value of A, B, C as an input from the console. Either you can use your scanner or you can use your input stream reader class, and you have to take only three inputs, that is your A, B as well as your C, and finally display the result of the expression to its nearest whole number. You have to round off the answer also, so hence at the last we are going to use what? We are going to use our math.round function. Okay, math.round mathematical function we are going to use at the very last. Now let us try to do this program. Let us open our BlueJ. A new class we are going to make. So this is your question number 1. Now see, let us remove all the code from here. We are going to write down the code of our own. Firstly, define a class. That is your question number 1. Then afterwards, just write down public static void main string arguments brackets, and we are done with our basic part. Now you have to take three variables as an input. Yes, so now let us take int a comma b comma c, and to store the result we are going to take your double result. Okay, now you have to take the input, so let us try to use our scanner class. Scanner sc equals to new scanner, and in brackets you will be writing out system dot in. Okay, now see, we are getting an error. Yes, obviously we have to include our class, that is import java dot util library. We have to import it over here. Now write down system dot out dot println, and in brackets you just give a message that enter three numbers. Okay, now you have to receive the values, so we are going to use a equals to this object sc dot next int, because you are going to receive an integer value. Likewise, you will be receiving the value for b. Let us copy this thing out, and the same you are going to do it for c. Yes, now we have entered all the three variables. Now we have to calculate this expression. Basically, this is your mathematical expression. Now firstly convert this expression into your appropriate Java expression. Okay, and we are going to store the result in your res. Now see, firstly what we are having? We are having 1 divide by, in brackets you will be writing out a into a. Either you can use a into a, or you can use math.pow function. It depends on you. For the ease of this function, we are going to use a into a over here. Okay, now write down this plus 2 divide by, again in the bracket write down b into b, and then again plus write down 3 divide by, in bracket c into c. Okay, so this is how we are going to write down the answers. But see, everything regarding your a as well as your b as well as your c, everything is your integer. So anyhow this right hand side will be giving you an integer variable, but you want the result in your double. So what you want to do, let us typecast this thing into double. Okay, so let us explicitly typecast this thing. Now let us print this thing on the screen, system.out.println, and we are going to give what, res equals to plus your res. Okay, so this is basically our program. Now let us execute this program. Firstly we are going to compile it. Now yes, no syntax error we have got. Now again let us try to run this code. Yes, see over here we are getting what, enter three numbers. Let us assume that the first number that we have entered is 2, the second number is 3, the third number is 4. So you are getting the result what, 0.25. Basically the result is 0.25, and you can see that it is a double value. Okay, so this is how you are going to do this question. Now again, let us see your second question for the same. Okay, the second question says for every natural number that is m, it should be greater than 1. There is a condition that you have to check m should be greater than 1, and 2m, m square plus 1 as well as your m square plus 1 forms a Pythagorean triplet, and write a program to input the value of m through console to display a Pythagorean triplet. The sample example, see over here we are having, let us assume that as an input if we take 3, it means the value of m is 3, then 2m will be giving you 6, then m square minus 1 will be giving you 8, and your m square plus 1 will be giving you 10. Now we can say that 6, 8 and 10 forms a Pythagorean triplet. Basically one natural number you have to input, okay, and that natural number should be greater than 1. There is a condition that your natural number should be greater than 1. Then you have to find out this 2m as well as m square minus 1 as well as your m square plus 1, and all the three variables you have to print it on the screen. Only this much you have to do in this program. So let us try this thing out. See, basically in this function, in this one, finally display the result of the expression to its nearest whole number. We actually forgot to round off the value. Yes, we actually forgot to round off the value. Now let us write down it over here, that system dot out dot println, and we can ask for what, the round off value equals to plus math dot round, and in bracket you can write down res for the same. Okay, now let us see what is the value that we are going to get. Compile the code. Yes, we are having one error. Now see what is this, round of value. Okay, this equal to should be over here. Yes, now compile the code. No syntax error. Now again let us run our code. Now see, it is going to ask you the three numbers. Again let us enter the same number, 2 as well as 3 as well as your 4. Now see, the result is 0.25, and as you know that after the decimal, if you are having the number that is equal to or greater than 0.5, then only it is going to give you one number higher. Otherwise it is just going to truncate these values. So in this case we are having 0.25, so it is simply truncating your value and giving you 0 as a result. Okay. Now let us move on to your second question. Now make a new class. Let us name it as question number 2. Double click on it and let us erase the code for the same. Now, yes, over here. So we have to find out the value of 2m, m square minus 1 and m square plus 1. So firstly we have to take the value of m. Yes. So now write down class question number 2, and for this you have to write down again public static void main string arguments, then again these brackets. Done with the basic part. Now integer m. Yes, now we are going to use your scanner class. We have made sc as an object, scanner, and in bracket you will be writing out system dot in for the same. Again let us import our java dot util library. Okay, so now write down system dot out dot println, in bracket write down enter the natural number that is greater than your 1. Okay, now we are going to receive the value. So m equals to sc dot next int. Now done with the basic part. We have received an integer, or you can say we have received a natural number that is greater than 1, and it is your choice. Either you can use if condition over here, or you can just skip this condition. It depends on you. If you're going to use the if condition, in class 9th already you have learned about the if statement now. So let us check this condition. If your m is greater than 1, then only you are going to follow this code. Yes, otherwise write down system.out.println number not valid. Please remember, you can it depends on you whether you write down this if else code or not. You can write down the code as it is also, but it is better to write down this code in your if else condition. Okay, now in if block, if your number m is greater than 1, then only you are going to calculate what the numbers regarding your Pythagorean triplet. So we have to do what, 2m, m square minus 1 as well as your m square plus 1. So three values we are going to find it out. So let us write down int p1 equals to 2 into m. Okay, first Pythagorean triplet, then int p2 equals to your m square, it means m into m minus 1, and for the third one p3 equals to m into m plus 1. Okay, now if you are going to write down your math.pow function over there, now let us see how we are going to write this function. You can write down math.pow this a comma 2. Yes, and this math.pow function is going to give you a double value, so you have to typecast it. Better to write down int in bracket. Okay, now all the three values you are having, you just have to give the output over here, that is your system dot out dot print ln, and in bracket write down the Pythagoras triplet are your what? P1. Yes. Now again write down this comma. Yes, we are missing out this thing. Again plus P2. Then again plus. Let us separate this thing with the and again plus your P3 value. Okay, so this is basically our code for this question. Now let us try to execute this code, compile this one. Now again we are going to have an error. What is it? Errors found in the class, this one, A2. Okay, we have to use M over here. Yes, now again compile the code, no syntax errors. Again let us run our code. Question number 2 we were solving now. So see, yes, enter the value that should be greater than 1. Let us enter your 2 value. So the Pythagorean triplet are 4, 3 and 5. Now again let us try to run this code and let us give the value that is your -1. So it is going to give you number not valid. Now that is why we are using what? If and else condition. It depends on you. You can opt for if else or you can just skip the if else. But better to write down if else condition for the same. Okay. So this is how you are going to solve your second question. Now see the third question. Write a program to input a number, calculate its square root and cube root. For both these things we are having a mathematical function. For square root you are having math.sqrt and for the cube root you are having math.cbrt. Yes, both the functions we are having. Now you have to take an input as a number, so only one number you are going to get as an input. Okay, depends on you. You can use scanner class, you can use input stream reader class. Again the same thing. Finally display the result by rounding it off. See, again you have to round off the number over here also. So anyhow, after using this math.square root function as well as your math.cube root function, you are going to use what? Math.round function. Now see the sample input. If you have taken 5 as an input, then the square root of 5 is this one. Yes, now the rounded form of this square root value is 2. Now again calculate the cube root of 5, that is this one. Now again you have to apply math.round function on this cube root function, then the rounded form becomes your 2 1. Okay, now getting the point. Firstly you have to use the square root function, then round off the value. Then again find out the cube root of the function value, then you have to round off the upcoming value. Okay, so this is how you are going to do the third program. You have to try this program on your own and please let me know in case you feel any difficulty with the same. Now regarding your fourth as well as your fifth as well as your sixth, regarding the remaining unsolved programs we are going to discuss in your next video. So for now this basically is your home assignment. See, in the first question you have to evaluate the following Java expression where a, b, c are integers, d, f are floating numbers and the values are these ones. So you have to find out the output basically over here. Yes, these 5 expressions you are having and you have to calculate these values. Now see the second question, if m equals to 5 and n equals to 2, then find out this thing. Basically these are your what? Pre-increment and pre-decrement. Yes, regarding those things you have to find out these answers. Again the third question, see what will be the output of this thing. Now over here implicit type conversion is being taking place. Yes, we have done the question regarding the same. Character C you are having, that is capital A, and now over here you are going to add this character with your short value. So this character is going to give you an appropriate ASCII value, then it is going to add on with your M, and at the last you are going to get the result as your N. So please try these 3 questions on your own and let me know in case you feel any difficulty. In the beginning of the next video we are going to discuss these questions, but better to try these questions on your own. Again, in the next video, we are going to discuss some remaining unsolved program of the same chapter, that is unit number 6, Mathematical Library Methods. Thank you so much.